In a quiet village tucked between green hills and winding rivers, lived a man named Ramu. Ramu was a poor farmer, known more for his complaints than his crops. He owned little but took great pride in his loyal dog, Bola, a scruffy mutt with kind eyes and a bark that could scare off wild boars. Bola wasn't just a pet, he was family. He helped herd the goats, guarded the hut at night, and even fetched firewood. Ramu often said, "This dog's more useful than half the people in this village." One morning, while tilling a corner of his neglected field, Ramu's hoe struck something hard. Curious, he dug deeper, and there it was, a bone, but not just any bone. It shimmered under the sunlight, glowing faintly gold. Ramu picked it up, eyes wide. "It's golden," he whispered. Bola wagged his tail and barked once, clearly unimpressed. Ramu rushed to the village jeweler, who confirmed it. The bone was made of pure gold. "Where did you find this?" he asked, eyes gleaming. "Secret," Ramu said, clutching the bone. That night, Ramu couldn't sleep. He kept staring at the bone, calculating how many rupees it might fetch. He imagined buying land, hiring workers, living in a big house with white walls and glass windows. He could be the richest man in the village, no, the district. But a thought crept in, what if there's more? What if the field held an entire skeleton of gold? The next morning, Ramu returned to the spot and began digging feverishly. Bola tried to help, pawing at the soil. But when Bola unearthed a small wooden idol instead of gold, Ramu grew frustrated. "Useless dog," he snapped, shoving Bola away. Days passed, then weeks. Ramu dug from morning till night. His crops withered, goats wandered off, and Bola grew thin and tired. But Ramu didn't care. He found only one more piece of gold, a tiny toe bone, but that only fed his obsession. Villagers noticed the change. Ramu, once grumpy but kind-hearted, now barely spoke to anyone. He stopped feeding Bola properly. The dog would whimper at night, his ribs showing, but Ramu would mutter, "Go find your own food." One stormy night, lightning cracked open the sky. Ramu was still out in the field, digging furiously, drenched in rain. Bola tried to nudge him back home, but Ramu growled, "Get lost. You're bad luck." Bola, heartbroken, turned and walked into the woods. The next morning, Ramu awoke beside a hole so deep it could swallow a house. No gold. Nothing. Only mud, roots, and exhaustion. He returned home, only to find it ransacked. While he was chasing gold, thieves had taken everything, his tools, his goat, even the little grain he had. The neighbors, tired of his behavior, had turned their backs. But worse, Bola was gone. For the first time in months, Ramu sat still. The silence was deafening. He remembered the nights Bola curled up beside him, the mornings they shared boiled rice, the times the dog had barked away wild animals. Tears ran down his face, mixing with the mud. "I was blind," he whispered. "The gold cursed me, no, my greed did." He spent the next few weeks searching for Bola, calling his name in the fields and forests. Finally, one evening, he found Bola in the next village, lying under a banyan tree beside a kind old woman. The dog barked once, then hesitated. Ramu knelt, ashamed. "I don't deserve you," he said softly. Bola looked at him, ears perked, then slowly walked over and licked his face. From that day on, Ramu changed. He returned to farming, this time with heart. He shared what little he had and often warned children, "Gold can't feed you. But a good heart, and a loyal friend, those are treasures you should never lose." And as for the golden bone? Ramu buried it deep in the earth, where no greedy hands could find it again. Greed is a curse that blinds us to the true riches we already have: loyalty, love, and peace.